The first sound anyone heard that winter morning wasn't the wind or the snow cracking under boots. It was a scream, raw, terrified, and swallowed almost instantly by the white silence. Neighbors would later say that scream haunted them longer than the storm itself, because by the time it echoed through the valley, it was already too late for one house, and almost too late for a family. Months earlier, the snow hadn't started yet. Autumn still clung to the trees, and the air smelled of pine and damp earth. Lena stood on a patch of land at the edge of a small Canadian town, one hand on her swollen belly, the other sketching shapes in the dirt with a stick. She was 7 months pregnant, her back aching, her fingers numb from the cold that arrived earlier each year. She drew a curve, then another, forming a half circle. Her husband, Mark, leaned against his pickup truck, laughing. "A dome," he said, shaking his head. "You're pregnant, Lena, and you want to build a snow hut." "It's not a snow hut," she replied quietly. "It's a dome cabin, stronger against wind. Snow slides off instead of piling up." Mark waved her off. He was already hauling lumber for his own project, a tall, traditional wood cabin with sharp angles and a proud peaked roof. He wanted something that looked impressive, something that told the town he'd made it. Lena wanted something that would keep their baby warm. People noticed. At the hardware store, at church, even online in local Facebook groups. Some admired Lena's determination, but most laughed. A pregnant woman mixing mud, stacking earthbags, bending slowly and painfully day after day. Meanwhile, Mark's cabin rose fast, straight walls reaching confidently toward the sky. "You'll see," he told her one night. "When winter hits, my cabin will stand like a fortress." Lena didn't argue. She worked in silence, driven by a fear she couldn't fully explain. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the baby kicking whenever the wind howled too loud at night. She built the dome low and thick, layer by layer, shaping it like the inside of a womb. Every time she rested, she whispered to her belly, promising safety. Winter arrived hard and early. By December, snow buried fences and swallowed roads. Mark moved into his wood cabin with pride, teasing Lena as she finished sealing the top of her dome. "Come stay in a real house," he joked. "Before that thing caves in." She stayed. The first storm tested them both. Wind screamed across the valley, snow slamming sideways into walls. Mark's cabin groaned, wood popping and shifting under the weight. Lena's dome stayed quiet. Snow slid off its curved sides, piling harmlessly around it like a blanket. Then came the night no one expected. A blizzard unlike anything the town had seen in decades rolled in from the north. Power went out. Cell service vanished. Snow fell so thick it erased the horizon. Inside his cabin, Mark woke to a cracking sound above his head. The roof sagged, heavy with wet snow. He tried to shovel it off, but the wind threw him back. The next crack was louder. Violent. Final. The roof collapsed. The scream that followed cut through the storm. Lena felt it before she heard it, a deep, sharp pain in her stomach, the baby reacting to her fear. Then the sound reached her. She didn't think. She pulled on her boots, wrapped a coat around her belly, and stepped into the storm. She found Mark half buried, injured, shaking with cold and shock. With strength she didn't know she had, she dragged him toward the dome. Each step burned. Her body screamed for rest, but she kept moving. Inside the dome, it was warm. Not comfortable, not luxurious, but alive. The air was still. The walls held. Lena laid Mark down, tended to his wounds, and hours later, as the storm raged outside, she went into labor. The baby's first cry rose with the wind, but unlike the scream from before, this sound carried hope. When the storm passed, the town saw the truth. Mark's cabin was splintered and crushed. Lena's dome stood quietly under a soft crown of snow, untouched. People came with apologies instead of jokes. Mark never laughed again when Lena spoke. He told everyone who would listen that pride nearly killed him, and that strength doesn't always look the way you expect. Years later, on winter nights when the snow piled high and the wind howled just as it had before, Lena would sit inside the dome with her child asleep beside her. She'd remember that scream at the start of the storm, and the promise she made to protect life, no matter who mocked her. And the valley would stay silent, because this time, the dome held.